Let's talk about the new IRS Commissioner, or nominee to be the new IRS Commissioner, Billy Long. Former Missouri Congressman Billy Long has been nominated, and it has generated significant attention and mixed reactions from various quarters. Billy Long is 69 and represented Missouri's 7th Congressional District from 2011 to 2023. He was a certified auctioneer and ran real estate businesses before entering Congress. Long does not have a college degree and has never worked in accounting.
He also, Blake, hosted like a radio show. So I heard him on a podcast, and that's how he says he had a base of an audience, and that's how he's able to run for Congress already. So,
Okay.
So you have a chance here, Blake, to run for Congress.
To run for Congress someday? No, thank you. No, thank you. Not in a million years.
And you might already be familiar with him. There was a viral video that was going around a year and a half or so ago. There's a protester in Congress, and this congressman just started going into auctioneer mode to drown out the protester, and that was him.
Oh,
just like,
I think I do remember that.
The typical auctioneer talk. And
now, is that the video that you've brought today?
That is not the video I brought today. I brought one of the videos of him peddling ERTC and really claiming how accountants didn't stay on top of their game, right?
Happens is we have far too many potential recipients of ERTC that walk away from it because they're getting bad information from their accountants, their CPAs, saying, oh, you won't qualify because of this or that, when in reality they probably would. And from the horse's mouth, that is actually the case.
That is exactly the case. And the thing is, a lot of CPAs looked at it for their clients back in 2020. And guess what? They didn't qualify because nobody did. But they didn't stay on top of their game and know that we went back in March of 21, made another tax law change with 8 amendments, and now virtually everyone qualifies. We don't turn down more than we take, but the cases we look at, if they don't qualify, we do not tell them they do, and we do not try and get them through the process. And if you do qualify, we'll give you a good faith estimate of how much you'll be receiving.
And I've got another video that I'd like to play for you here as well, David. This is Congressman Billy Long. The name on the video is Mark Speaky, but that's just because he was on that guy's computer when they were on Zoom. And this is Billy Long talking about the employee retention tax credit.
Congress does 2 things really well. Absolutely nothing. They're overreacting. And they laugh usually at both lines. And I said, that's exactly, go get my hat, Mark, can you? It's on my desk right there, bring me a hat. And I point to my hat and I said, that's exactly what ERTC was. In 2020 under Donald Trump, and I'm the one that originated the phrase Trump train. So anytime you hear a Trump train, it came out of this pea brain up here. But I say, that's what ERTC was in 2020. We did it, but you had to have 3 freckles on the left side of your face, 2 on your right. You had to have under 100 when you had to prove COVID adversely affected your business. Nobody qualified. So we were doing absolutely nothing. We go back in March, and this is where a lot of the CPAs miss out on it. Thank you. We go in March of 21, we come in, and with 8 amendments, we changed the tax law again, and we overreacted. So now everybody qualifies. I mean, from nonprofits to my church has done it, Presbyterian Church here in town, Economic Development in Joplin, we got them $3.6 million. That's a not-for-profit. A funeral home here in town. You think funeral homes didn't have a lot of business during COVID? I mean, people that have had the best 2 years of their life ever on income qualify. And a lot of these CPAs are missing out on that because number one, they didn't know about it, so they're embarrassed. They badmouth it. Number 2, maybe they did look at it in 2020 when nobody qualified, but they didn't stay on top of their game and follow up in March of 21 and realize that, hey, they did qualify now. And so, it's a constant.
So there's Billy Long talking about how even if you had the best 2 years as a funeral home during COVID, you could qualify for the ERTC, promoting it. He started doing this immediately after he left Congress in 2023.
And it's tied to companies, right, that are, you could label as ERC mills, but it's not super clear. But at the same time, some of the warning signs that the IRS published about some of their websites match this, but there's 4 companies he's tied to. One is called Commerce Terrace Consulting. Another one that he was on that podcast about was Lifetime Advisors, who, which interestingly enough, stopped doing ERTC applications. And that in the last 3 days vanished from their website. They had like a banner, we're not doing them anymore, and it's not there today. I don't know what happened, and I should have screenshotted it. And then that's tied to a company called Profit Max, which is in alliance with Lifetime Navigators, which is tied to Lifetime Advisors. And it seems to be somebody's firm. Her name is Stacy Doge, not the Dogecoin, but Doege. And she's listed as an agent on the Lifetime Advisors website. So there's a lot of this like crisscrossy, multiple websites. I did look on the Better Business Bureau, and I did find one complaint. Somebody got the loan. They found out maybe they didn't qualify. They returned it in that forgiveness window. Remember, you could just give the money back.
Mm-hmm.
But the complaint with the BBB, Better Business Bureau, is that Lifetime Advisors would not give them the fee back, which is questionable. Now, there wasn't hundreds of complaints, but there was one complaint.
Right. So these are not accounting firms. These are these consulting firms, these quote unquote ERC mills that popped up just to process these ERC claims. And Long boasted in a podcast interview that his clients obtained tax refunds exceeding $1 million through the ERTC program. He actually talked about how in Congress he worked to help make the ERTC easier for businesses to claim, specifically removing the requirement to prove a business downturn due to COVID-19. He encouraged potential clients to disregard their accountant's advice when it contradicted their eligibility for the credit. So, like, this does not make me feel good about this potential IRS commissioner. He has no experience in tax or accounting, except in terms of promoting a potentially fraudulent tax credit.
Exactly. He never participated in the House and Ways and Means Committee. He has no... But he did lobby when they were starting to think about shutting down ERTC. He lobbied for them not to shut it down. But outside of that, he hasn't really been involved in the tax game.
So let's summarize for our listeners who may have missed it, the issues with the employee retention tax credit. The IRS so far has identified over 22,000 improper claims amounting to $572 million in assessments, $500 million. They've initiated 450 related criminal cases. And FinCEN has also initiated 223 investigations involving more than 2.8 billion of potentially fraudulent ERC claims across the years 2020 to 2023. And many businesses filed improper or fraudulent claims for the ERC, often misled by aggressive marketing tactics. And I think you could say that Billy Long's marketing tactics promotion were fairly aggressive, saying to ignore your accountant's advice and saying that anyone could qualify for it. So the short story is that this program has cost taxpayers billions of dollars, probably. And, you know, this is the IRS commissioner.
In fairness, I don't know if it's fairness, but I did listen to the entire interview. The second half, he really talks about his experience in Washington because he's a little bit of an outsider, and he's actually kind of a funny guy. So, like, it's worth listening to the interview and how he views Washington, D.C. and how he interacts. And he discovered, like, he can take anybody to the Smithsonian. So if you can't get tickets to the Smithsonian, he'll get you in, Blake, that type of thing. He's just, it's worth, as accountants, because we're closely tied to what happens at the IRS, the more you know about him, probably the better. But we'll see where this goes. It's where I think he's entertaining, but I'm not sure I want him running the IRS. It's kind of bucket.
I'm not sure I want an ERC promoter running the IRS when the ERC cost is estimated to now be over $550 billion. And it's money that went to a lot of businesses that did not need it. And what he was talking about was exactly those businesses, the funeral home during COVID getting an ERC check. It's just wrong. But, and this is what, like, this is what really bothers me about, like, the current situation with, like, Trump's nominees. The promise has always been from Trump, drain the swamp, drain the swamp. And I love that message. That's a great message. But this is not draining the swamp. This is putting a guy who is like knee deep in the swamp in charge of the Internal Revenue Service. And that gives me heartburn.